values to be used for your calculation. Okay, so these are the values that you will need to use for your control chart calculation. Okay, so a question like that, the first thing you need to do, first step you need to do is you need to calculate your X bar and your R bar for your mean chart and the range chart. Okay, so use these values that is given and you compute the X bar and the R bar. So after this, you will need to calculate the values for the first set of control limits. Okay, so after this, you will need to calculate the first set of control limits based on the X bar that you calculate and the values that you get from the table. Okay, so remember, no formulas given. So you must know how this is calculated. Okay, next, many students, when they do the calculation, you are asked to calculate the first set of control limits. Control limits, all chart have 3 lines. A lot of students, they will just calculate USL, LSL. They assume that you know that X bar is the center line. No. Okay, so many of them, when they write mean chart, they only show these 2 values. They didn't show this value. You don't show this value, you don't get the marks for this. Okay, so you need to show 3 lines. So you have calculated the preliminary control limits. What do you do next? So these are the limits that you have calculated. Next thing you do is you need to identify which points in the chart, in the table given, cannot be used. Okay, so you look for the range first. Always look for the range first so that you can remember to work out. Some students, they straight away they minus away, then they do the calculation, then they miss out some value. Okay, so this case over here, what you will do is you look for the range first, and then you circle all those values that you cannot use, so that you know which one you need to throw away when you redo your calculation. Okay, so if I'm going to do the range first, then I'm looking at the range value. Biggest value is 0.443. Anything bigger than 0.443, you circle. Okay, so this is bigger than 0.443, cannot be used. Okay, then we need to go back to the rule. We say that if a range is out, we not only discard the range, we need to discard the mean. So this one also need to throw away. Okay, so first set of value, this is the set of value. When you circle a range, you must circle the mean. The mean have to be thrown away together. Okay, then you go through again, there's nothing else, so there's only one range that is out. Okay, next we go to the mean. So the mean, the highest value is 7.991, lowest value is 7.709. Okay, so if you go through this, anything bigger than 7.991 or lower than 7.7, you will find
she can't see my phone being
this one here, which is smaller.
It's so fucking obvious. Dude, it's so fucking obvious.
This one here, which is bigger. And this one here, which is smaller. You see, I circle this gray. Why? This is smaller than this. But I circle this as gray, not as red. Why? Because earlier in the question, you were told Group 23 have no assignable course. Okay, so I can give you a question in a different format where, remember I showed you the sample paper before with the column at the side and remarks. Remember? Okay, so you need to look at the information that is given. Okay, I can give you a question where I have an extra column over here with the remarks that tell you which one got problem. Okay, so you need to take note of that. So for this question over here, this value here you cannot throw. Okay, because there is no assignable cost. Okay, so once you look at this, you realize that we will throw away 1 range and 3 means, not 4. 1 range and 3 means, so you got the new values. With these new values, what you do, you sub back into the formula one more round. So you sub it back into the formula one more round, that is your final answer. Okay, so you work up to this part here, you will get 12 marks. Okay?
I didn't skip for two-way Nova also.
The what?
Two-way Nova.
Two-way Nova.
Yeah, so
What's a two-way Nova? Is it the graph?
a Nova. A Nova.
Why? Why is that?
No.
You don't understand it.
I remember in the lab I miscalculate everything wrong. I check everything also. You calculate something wrong, the entire thing from
Yeah.
that's fucked up, man.
Your tutorial 5, the answers to your tutorial I have already posted in the blackboard. Mr. Tay wants me to explain to the student why this value here is 0.74 for his class. Okay, so if we look at question number 9, no decimal places were given. Okay, so when you do your calculation, when you perform your calculation, it depends on how many decimal places you work to. Okay, this calculation I work to 3 decimal places. So when I calculate this value, can you see this is 3 decimal places? Okay, so I use this value and carry forward. So if you round off the value, you will find that at the end you have 0.74. But as long as your method is correct, it is okay. Okay, these values I have worked, you can see the values I have worked to 3 decimal places. Okay, so if those students who calculate this, if you work to 0.53, then you will have a long value. When you carry forward all the decimal places, a lot of rounding up. Okay, so if you do not get exactly the same value, doesn't matter as long as your method is correct. In the exam, you will definitely state how many decimal places you need to work to. Okay, so this question here is a question on the normal distribution. So first part here, they ask you question number 5. They ask you, what is the capability index for this machine to produce part number X? Okay, so if you look at this question over here, for us to calculate capability index, we need to use tolerance over 6 sigma. Okay, to calculate CP, you need tolerance over 6 sigma. But if you look at the information that is provided, no sigma is given. Okay, so first part, you need to get sigma. So sigma is obtained using R bar over E2. Okay, so here, from here, sum of range, you can get your R bar. D2 is what value? What is D2?
Like your phone name.
Where do you get
To the
D2?
computer. Just
Table B.
Very good.
Okay, so if you look at table B
You don't
here,
have to spend half a day.
you will find that in table B there is this portion here where there is a D2. Okay, so if your subgroup size is 4, your D2 is 2.059. Okay, so use that, you will get your This. Okay, this question we ask you to work to 3 decimal places. So you got this value, you round to 3 decimal places. Then you use this value and you continue with your question.
I just finished this week.
Okay, so CP is tolerance over 6 sigma. Tolerance is here.
Next week.
Plus and minus
Probably know
0.1.
that video.
Okay,
I wore
so
jeans and shoes from the video.
you will get your CP equals to 0.850.
I should have brought my jacket, but I only brought my laptop here.
North Face sponsored.
North Face.
Super dry sponsor.
I mean, Ashima call me daddy.
You put under this
So I
one
hope the
round,
phone
then
didn't
you
pick that up.
continue. Yes. Okay, so this one here, normal distribution question, they ask you how many percent undersize? How many percent undersize if the machine is centered at 79.97? Okay, so 79.97 is your mu. How many percent undersize? So undersize, what is undersize? Undersize is anything that is smaller than the specs. So undersize is anything smaller than 79.87.
No.
So if your mu is at 79.97, what is your Z value at LSL? Okay, because this question is asking for undersize.
Actually, I'm not sure.
Okay, so we need to locate
What would you
this
have left for?
portion here. This is the line
Aircraft
which is
system.
X for the
Which I can
undersize.
skip.
Okay, and in order for me to find
After
this
this is
portion
what?
here, I must know the Z value.
What's after this? Lecture
Okay,
or
so this is what you do.
For me, it's
You
supposed to be
use
Q
what you know. So
okay,
mu
that
you
means
know.
I have
X you
today,
know.
but I'm skipping.
Standard deviation you calculated just now. Okay, you
What
step
people
in
just can't
and you
do?
find
You can't
that
do
this
anything.
position
Going
here
through the fucking
where
place, one here is the toilet, you
LSL
know?
is,
Going
your
through
Z
what?
It's
value
going to bring
is
us to the toilet of the aircraft.
1.9
is what?
minus
Go and
1.96.
explain the toilet
Then you go to
process.
the table.
For
So go to the table and
Now-
find for Z equals to minus 1.96. What you see is 0.0250. This portion is 0. So portion undersize 2.5%. You want to get your full mark, huh? Write down, because this doesn't answer the question. Okay, I repeat again. You want to get your full mark, you need to write down this, because this
jacket
question,
feels
this one asks you a
super
question,
sturdy, man.
how many percent?
Very rigid.
You write it, you show
It's
this,
good, it feels very
you're not
strong.
answering the question at all.
The material itself.
Okay,
feels
how do I
fucking
know
strong.
that this is the end and this is the answer? So you need to state.
Wind resistant water. Especially water, right? You won't feel the wind.
Where should the
I think-
machine be
I don't
set
know. I
if
think
I do not want more than
The surface
1.9%
is water resistant,
oversize?
and over here
So oversize
wind
is
resistant.
bigger
Over
than
the
your
black part.
upper specs, which is 80.13. Okay, so if I want not more than 1.9% oversize, the portion below must be 18.13%. Okay, we use that to find the Z value. So if you go to your table A2, where 98.3%, you will find that the Z at the position is 2.06. That is where Z is 2.06. Okay, use that, you start back into your formula and you solve for your mu.
Still got 62.
Yeah.
So machine
We
mean
should
should
go through
be
tomorrow.
80.03,
Is that came tomorrow?
is 80.02.
No,
if we want not more than
This is the last one.
1.9%
For the week, and maybe next
oversize.
year. Maybe
Oh,
she'll say
tomorrow
next.
have. Tomorrow have.
Tomorrow have. Fuck, but we in NUS. Okay, you can take video from me.
I may not be going.
Serious.
Okay, I will just finish this one here, then tomorrow we will continue with the rest of the question. So this part over here asks
Tomorrow
you,
not coming to school.
what is the CP value for
If I
a
were
new
to come,
batch
I only come
of
for
500
one lesson,
pieces
I'm
produced
supposed to stay at home the whole
with a mean value
only
of
one lesson?
80.01 and a standard deviation
Yeah,
of
I can come.
0.050?
I may be.
Okay, so here you just need to apply your formula. You are told mu is 80.01, standard deviation is now 0.05 for the actual batch that is being produced. Okay, we're not talking about the sigma of the machine, we are talking about the sigma of the batch that is being produced.
Going through the paper, and I want to know how.
Okay, so all you need to do now is you sub it into your formula, and the
Only
CPK
calculation for
value is
hydraulics
the smaller
is
of the two,
actuator.
so you need to show it
Oh, sorry,
as
accumulator.
0.8. Okay, and finally, the last part, they ask you, is there any oversized part? So they ask you, is there any oversized part? Yes or no? Yes. At USL, your value is smaller than 1.